हेलो एवरीवन, आवर न्यूज़पेपर इज़ हेयर द हिंदू। डेट है आज की जुलाई 7 थर्सडे। तो चलिए कुछ नया सीखते हैं। तो आज की हेडलाइंस है स्पाइस जेट गेट्स DGCA नोटिस फॉर सेफ्टी लैप्सेस, रेगुलेटर फ्लैग्स पुअर मेंटेनेंस फेलियर टू पे वेंडर्स। The Directorate General of Civil Aviation (DGCA) on Wednesday served a show cause notice on SpiceJet over its failure to offer safe, efficient, and reliable air services after as many as 8 mid-air incidents in the past 2 months. The regulator blamed the airline for poor safety oversight and failure to procure spare parts for aircraft maintenance due to its poor financial status. The DGCA has given the accountable manager of SpiceJet, its chairman and managing director, Mr. Ajmer, 3 weeks to explain why action should not be taken against the airline. Responding to the notice, Civil Aviation Minister Jyotirai Scindia tweeted, "Passenger safety is paramount. Even the smallest error hindering safety will be thoroughly investigated and course corrected." So, this is how the news goes. Here is the picture which says safety manifest. What the DGCA notice says: SpiceJet failed to establish safety manifest. It shows in the picture what the DGCA notice says. It says SpiceJet failed to establish safe, efficient, and reliable air services. A review of recent incidents shows airline either forced to turn back aircraft on many occasions or continue flight with degraded safety margins, fall in the standards due to poor internal safety oversight, and failure to carry out aircraft maintenance. Failure to pay vendors on time led to a shortage of spares, according to financial assessment in September 2021. In an implicit warning, the DGCA says airlines permit to operate commercial flight valid only till May 23. Vistara jets face Snag. The crew of an Indigo Raipur Indore flight noticed smoke in the plane after it landed on Tuesday. DGCA officials said on Wednesday a Vistara flight from Bangkok to Delhi faced an electrical malfunctioning after the plane landed in Delhi on Tuesday. Another headline says Raipur police declare TV anchor as absconder. UP police release him after 12-hour questioning. Raipur police on Wednesday declared TV anchor Rohit Ranjan an absconder after they could not find him at his residence in Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh, in a case pertaining to the telecast of an alleged doctor video of Congress leader Rahul Gandhi. They said they were trying to trace him. Earlier, after around 12 hours of questioning, the Gautam Buddha Nagar police released Mr. Ranjan on bail late on Tuesday night. Udayan Dehar, Deputy Superintendent of Police Raipur, said the team visited the Zee News office in Noida and also lodged a complaint against the Indrapuram police station officials with the Ghaziabad Senior Superintendent of Police for obstructing them in carrying out their duty. Kerala Culture Minister Saji Sherian quits. Kerala Culture and Fisheries Minister Saji Sherian resigned from the Left Democratic Front (LDF) cabinet on Wednesday after his remarks on the constitution triggered an uproar. At a press conference here, Mr. Sherian said the media had portrayed him as anti-constitution by taking quotes from his speech out of context. Ms. Mahawah faces FIR in Bhopal for remarks. The row over Trinamool Congress MP Mahawah Moitra's comment on Goddess Kali intensified on Wednesday, with a first information report FIR being registered against her in Bhopal for allegedly outraging religious feelings. Bengal BJP Mahila Morcha chief Tanuja Chakrabarti also filed a complaint against her in Kolkata. Here is a picture which shows shaken hills, tumbled earth. Vehicles lie buried under debris after a landslip and heavy rain in Shimla on Wednesday. At least 4 persons are believed to have been washed away in the Parvati River after a cloudburst hit Shos village in Himachal Pradesh, Kullu's district. Ajmer man held for threat to Nupur. Rajasthan police arrested a man in Ajmer late on Tuesday for allegedly offering to give away his house and property to anyone who beheaded suspended Bharatiya Janata Party leader Nupur Sharma. The accused Salman Chishti is a khadim worker at historic Ajmer Dargah. He had recorded his announcement before the murder of Tailor Kanhaiya Lal in Udaipur on June 28th, but the video was circulated later. He was on the run since the police registered a case against him earlier this week. The police arrested him from his house near the shrine. Dargah custodian Sayyid Zainul Abedin condemned the video and said it should not be considered a message from the shrine. Another news says domestic LPG price up by rupees 50 again. Households in Delhi now need to pay rupees 1053 per cylinder. Households will now have to spend more on liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) as nation oil marketing companies increased the price of 14.2 kg cylinder by rupees 50 with effect from July 6. The third revision in 2 months, including one to factor in increase in LPG distributor commission, is bound to compound the misery of households grappling with runaway inflation and rising prices of various commodities. This is the news. It goes like this. The increase was necessitated in view of under recovery on LPG, or in other words, the retail selling price not being in tandem with that of crude oil. Sources in the oil industry. Here is the international news. It says British Prime Minister Johnson vows to keep going. More ministers quit. A group of cabinet members would ask the Prime Minister to resign. Local media report. This was the picture. Tight spot. Mr. Boris Johnson during the weekly session of Prime Minister's questions at the House of Commons. Mr. Boris Johnson on Wednesday refused to quit as British Prime Minister despite a growing number of resignations from his scandal-hit government piling on pressure as he faced a grilling from angry MPs. The 58-year-old leader's grip on powers appears to be slipping following 10 short minutes on Tuesday night, when Rishi Sunak resigned as Finance Minister and Sajid Javid quit as Health Secretary. Both said they could no longer tolerate the culture of scandal that has dogged Mr. Johnson's for months, including lockdown lawbreaking in Downing Street. ये जो देश है तेरा स्वदेश है तेरा तुझे है पुकारा. Gotabaya turns to Putin for fuel supplies for Sri Lanka. This is the picture. It shows persistent demand. Police trying to disperse farmers seeking the ouster of Gotabaya Rajapaksa in Colombo. Sri Lankan president on Wednesday reached out to his Russian counterpart, Mr. Putin, seeking urgent credit for fuel imports for his crisis-hit island nation, even as Colombo negotiates a support package with the Washington-headquartered International Monetary Fund. Had a very productive telecon with the Russian president, Mr. Putin, while thanking him for all the support extended by his government to overcome the challenges of the past. I requested an offer of credit support to import fuel to Sri Lanka in defeating the current economic challenges, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said in a tweet. ये जो देश है तेरा स्वदेश है तेरा तुझे है पुकारा. This is important how India is assisting Sri Lanka. India, as a part of its $3.5 billion assistance this year, earlier extended $500 million credit line for fuel imports, and Sri Lanka has sought further credit. However, it appears that any future assistance from most bilateral partners will depend on Sri Lanka firming up its debt restructure strategy and the IMF's extended fund facility coming through. Tough negotiations. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka is struggling to respond to its crippling economic downturn. Even ongoing negotiations with the IMF appear challenging, going by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's remarks in Parliament on Tuesday. We are now participating in negotiations as a bankrupt country. Therefore, we have to face a more difficult and complicated situation than previous negotiations, he said. Another news, international news says 12 killed as Russia pounds Donetsk. Moscow claims its Air Force destroyed two HIMARS rockets provided by the US. Russian shelling killed at least 8 civilians in Ukraine over the past 24 hours and wounded 25 more. Ukrainian officials said on Wednesday pro Russia separatists said attacks by Ukrainian forces killed 4 civilians. Afghan soil won't be used to launch for attacks. Taliban Supreme Leader Mullah Habibullah Akhundzada said on Wednesday that Afghan soil will not be used to launch attacks against other countries as he asked the international community to not interfere in Afghanistan's internal affairs. The Taliban say they are adhering to an agreement they signed with the US in 2020 before retaking power, in which they promised to fight terrorists. Since their takeover last year, they have repeatedly said Afghanistan would not be used as a launching pad for attacks against other countries.